Hello everyone, Ted Simpson here, certified Bob Ross instructor, and I thought I would show you a fun little way to create an eclipse. We just had the 2024 eclipse, and I did a painting. I'll show you a picture of it. And I thought I would do it again just to show you guys my process here and to make the actual sun a little smaller than I did before. So what I did, I got my black gessoed canvas set up here, and I found a little bit of shelf paper, cut out a little circle and stuck it on there. The canvas is still dry. So while I have that nice and stuck little circle there, I'm going to come over here, take just a little bit of the liquid clear, and we're going to cover the entire canvas. I'm using a 2-inch brush here. It makes it go a little faster. So I am based in Michigan, just outside of Detroit. And I took my wife and daughter to Ohio. We went down to Findlay, Ohio, right in the path of totality. We went down there super early and found a spot. They were having a nice viewing party at a really giant series of soccer fields. So they had food trucks set up, big parking lot, and everyone was just hanging out with their family. It was quite a tailgating type situation. It was pretty nice. So there we go. We've got our thin, even coat of the liquid clear. Really working it in, spreading it around, making sure the whole thing is covered. Then I'm going to come in here with a fresh, clean paper towel. And I'm going to wipe a good portion of it off. Giving that canvas a good once over. Take away that heavy shine. There it is. Not so shiny anymore. But now we can still spread and create a nice little effect. So, my canvas set up here, well, look at that, I already got blue out there. I don't think I'll need any more. I almost put out way too much. So this painting is based off of a 2017 painting from the new host of the Joy of Painting, Nicholas Hankins. Nick and I have done a few classes together. We've done some events together. And I remember back in 2017, he came out with this painting. Oh man, it was up on his website. I should have bought it. I thought it was just the coolest eclipse painting. So I have tried a few different times here to recreate it. Some more successful than others. And the one that I did the other day, which I showed you a picture of, one of my better results here. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this phthalo blue and mixing up a good bit into my brush, just pounding a little bit into the tips of the bristles. And what I'm going to do is cover most of this canvas here. And now you can make crisscross strokes. I like making circles sometimes, working my way around. Okay, load a little bit more and move on. But I don't really want to overload it. There we go. So, got the phthalo blue out here. Now, as we move away from the eclipse, I want it to appear darker. So I'm taking a little bit of the Prussian blue. It's a deeper navy blue almost. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop some Prussian blue here on the outside. Okay, it's somewhere right about there. Working some Prussian blue in there. Same thing up here. A little bit of Prussian blue. It'll eat up whatever phthalo blue you still have in your brush. You can always clean out your brush first. And I'm overlapping that phthalo blue a little bit. Create a little bit of a transition. Now I suppose if you wanted to, you could use black and blue to darken it up. You could use, heck, I saw someone posted pictures out there and it was completely red, and you just could do whatever colors that you want. Now I think down here for the water, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Maybe our water has a little bit of green in it. And in a previous painting, I've been mixing green and blues, but I've been using sap green. I thought today, maybe a little bit of Prussian blue and phthalo blue and phthalo green. Which one? More blue? More green? I don't know. I'm kind of mixing them together. Find an interesting flavor. And I'm just going to drop some of this in. Oh my goodness. A little bit of green, a little bit of blue. And I'm just going to mix it in. We're going to have some water in our painting here today. So why not a little bit of green? Grinding it in there. And basically we do have the entire canvas covered with some paint. Of one color or another. Okay, time to clean that brush thoroughly and completely. Stirring, squeegeeing out, stirring, shaking it out, and then you know what's coming. Really beat the devil out of it. I'm going to beat the devil out of it some more on the easel, and then even more so in our paper towel. I really want this dry because mineral spirits and liquid clear, as you know, don't like each other. Creates kind of a watercolor effect, a bloom type effect. Now where is my titanium white? Here it is. My titanium white, if you please. Need a little bit of the white to bring out all these colors, all these little shades. Bring some of it down with the knife. Makes it a little easier to load a small amount when the color is pulled down into a little ramp. Loading in a bit of color. Not just diving in, I'm getting a little bit and really working it in. We can always add more if we need to. So, we're going to try to, let me try that again. We are going to try to create a little bit of a background haze. So, I start from inside my moon, and I'm just going to work outwards. Something like that. As I go outwards, it picks up that color. You start to see some cloud action happen. Pick up a little bit more color, and let's try that again. Work from the inside out. Already getting some cool stuff happening here. How bright you want to make yours is up to you. Already that's looking pretty cool. So a little bit more. I want it a little brighter right past the moonshot here. Maybe a little bit more. I tell you what, I'm going to clean my brush thoroughly once again. The more you go over this, you'll start mixing the colors. You'll pick up that blue and it'll eat up that white. So I'm going to try to stop before I mix and melt it all away. And also, the more you work it, you'll start taking the color off. So now that I've got this on there, I just want to soften it. If there's any brush marks, I'm going to pick those up and hopefully melt them away. There we go. All right, now comes the super fun part. I'm going to take a small little fan brush here with a little bit of the titanium white on it. Not much. And I'm going to try to radiate out. No matter what, I want to create the illusion here that this is radiating out. So if I want to go up top first, I just push a little color. If this helps you, just do like, again, clock face, 12, 6, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Then the other numbers. You know, I want to try to make sure that I'm not changing the angle. I want them all coming out from the center. Maybe make it out and just try to match that up so it looks like they're all coming out from the center. Now some of them might be longer than others. Getting some color out there all the way around. All the way around. Not worried about blending. Just getting some of that white out there. It looks a little weird right now. It's okay. If you need to stop and pick up some more white, you can do that. Some of it's going to be brighter than others. Some of it's not so bright. Something like that. I know it looks a little weird. Just going to clean out my fan brush. I come back to my 1-inch brush, and now I blend. Again, following the same directions here. I'm going to try to follow that clock face technique here. Working 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Look at that. Now, it's up to you how big you want these rays to be. You could have easily had them a lot smaller. But you can see that the more that I work this, see that black come through again? I might have went a little too hard on it. That's okay. I'm going to come back here and just knock in some color. I might have moved it too much. So I'm just going to try to put that in and try not to move it so much. Okay. Not really using much of the bristles here. Light touch this time. Light touch. Light touch. You may need to use more paint or less paint. Okay. Now, clean out my brush. Just soften it just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, here we go. I think that's good enough. not wanting to come up. So I'm going to take my trusty razor. There it is. Ta-da! Nice little radiating eclipse. Totality. Totality cool. In my previous example, I did add some yellows and stuff. It's up to you how much of that you really want to do. I think with this one here, just sticking with the blue to show you the basic technique is good enough. But maybe we'll have some clouds here. I like the idea of these clouds sort of encircling. Okay. And then I'm just going to soften those clouds. Trying to stay away from those rays. A little brighter down here. There we go. There's a great little eclipse technique for you. And what should we do down here? What should we do? I think we'll just follow along with some of my previous example here and just drop in some color. So, what do I need to put in? Maybe I'll just utilize what color I already have here. I'm going to add a little bit of the Van Dyke brown. I'm going to make my own mountain mixture. What the heck? Oh! Make my own mountain mixture. So, what is mountain mixture? It is alizarin crimson, Prussian blue, a little bit of midnight black, ooh, that was a lot of it, and a touch of brown. So, with my handy knife here, let's take all of that crimson, a nice little hunk of the blue, nice hunk of black, maybe a little more blue, bit of brown. And let's mix those colors together. What color do we get? Dark. Just a dark color. I tell you what, while we got it here, maybe a little bit of that phthalo green. Bunch of color up in there. Like I said, I've made a couple, 3 or 4 of these Eclipse paintings. Mostly stuck with just sort of a meadow. Didn't do I suppose we could do a seascape. You could do mountains, you know, big old Bob mountains. The sky's the limit, of course. But maybe we'll just stick with a different kind of foreground here than I've done previously. Just drop in some of these trees back here. Maybe we'll do a meadow, but one thing I haven't done in my Eclipse paintings is happy evergreens. So, maybe we'll do some background evergreens. Oh my God, a second time. So sorry about that. That's got to be jarring for you guys watching. There we go, something like that. Now, very lightly, I like to lift up. It helps flatten some of this chunky paint that happens when you're just bashing. So let me just lift this up. There we go. Clean out my brush. And what do you say I take just a touch of that white and very lightly make some tree trunks here. Just lift it up. There we go. That's a little too strong for you. I clean my brush and just give them another once over and it'll settle some of them down. There we go. Some of those were getting a little too bright. Now, oop, that brush did not get clean at all, or else I touched it right into a dirty paper towel and got more paint on it. Maybe, gotta find myself a nice 1-inch brush here. I'm gonna make myself some nice, before I make my nice meadow, let's go ahead and create a little pond here. So I'm just going to press in and pull down, hopefully straight. Press in. There we go. Press it in, creating the start of a reflection here. Pull some of it down vertically. Then lightly drift sideways to blur it. Good. Maybe just a touch more. I like seeing some little bright spots right there. Clean that brush, give it a little sideways pull. Create a little pond happening. Now, I can take a little bit of the liquid white. We got to create a little thinned little pile here. So let's take some liquid white and some cadmium yellow. Making a little working pile here. Got to get plenty of color. Plenty of color. Maybe just a little touch more. Might need more yellow. And I'm going to come over here and grab a little bit of the phthalo green. Ooh, that's an eclipsey green, isn't it? It's a bright one. A little bit of phthalo blue darkens it, but still gives it that nice, bright, electric-looking green. Plenty of color up in the tips of the bristles there. And maybe our meadow starts right about, boom, there, boom. Boy, that is a bright one. A little too much liquid white, I think. But good enough to get us started here. You know what? I don't like it. I think I overdid it. So I'm going to fix this just like this. all I did was just wipe that color off, put in some dark color again, just to cover that right back up. I did not like how bright that was. On a night scene, the color shows up so much brighter, so I'm mixing up a batch of darker color with hardly any liquid white. Okay, so when I come up here, oh, that's a little better. Not so much. Not so much of the white. And you can see here, look at that, one brush full of paint really covers a lot of this meadow we got going on here. Get a little bit coming from this side here. Letting it get darker. Still very, very visible. I couldn't believe how dark it got once we hit totality. It really darkened down a lot. But only for about 3 minutes or so. Darker, darker, darker. Lighter touches. Really starts to darken and create all these deep shadows. There we go. So then, I'm going to come in here with just a little bit of the yellow, cadmium yellow, maybe dull it down with a little yellow ochre, and just a touch of green. It's still going to be a lot more yellow than green. Touch of the blue, still quite yellow when we come up here. And let's put a couple of zingers here, a couple of bright spots here. Wherever you think they need to be. A couple of those little bright spots here. I think there's a few. Something like that. All right, well, we can't get away from this Eclipse painting without those evergreens. Like I said, I was going to put in. We wanted to put something in there, a little bigger, a little bolder. So let's get our fan brush loaded up full of color. And I tell you what, I think I might just turn that tree into an evergreen tree. It's hard to see, of course, just dropping in this dark thing here. Bring it down however big you want this to be. Maybe there's a little guy right next to him. There we go. And we can't forget about this side. I'll tell you what, let's take this tall one here and turn it into an evergreen, a nice closer. Farther down you go, the closer it will appear to the eye. Perfect spot. Clean my old fan brush here. And let's see here. I think I'm going to take just a little bit of the cadmium yellow, touch of the liquid white, and some sap green. Load that full of color, some sap green, cadmium yellow, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. Look at that. Nice lovely shade here. And come up here and, well, this one's in front, so let's highlight this one first. Couple of highlights on that background tree. Then a couple on this one. Focusing a little bit more on the right side. This one here, we'll focus a little more highlights on the left side. A little bit more. Just want to brighten that one up a little. Here at the bottom, maybe there'll be some little grasses and such right down there. Good deal. So, a touch of the brown. Here and there, we need to cover up that little bit where the reflection starts. So, a little bit of dirt there, a little bit of exposed earth. And you can put this in and cover up and make as much or as little land as you want. Just cover some of that grass right on up. It's up to you how much you want to do. Just dropping some of that in there, just spreading this, just like spreading butter, really. Get some dark color out there. Now I'll take a little bit of the white, add some brown to it to make a highlight color. Just some kind of a smeary, marbly brown mixture, light brown. Let's put a little highlight there. There we go. Try not to cover up all the dark. There we go. Can't forget about our waterline. Waterline today, let's get crazy. We'll do a little bit of titanium white and liquid white mixed together, just smeared flat on the plate, on the palette here. Wipe my knife clean and we'll get a little roll. Little roll of color. Touch and saw. Create a little smeared bit and a little bead of color. A little bit on this side as well. I tell you what, I'm going to use the small edge of my knife just so I can control this a little easier. Small knife fits into those certain spots. the long edge there when you need it. Use both. Maybe a little ripple here and there. So those fish don't know what's going on in those few minutes here. They think it's nighttime. A little bit of exposed splashes and such. And there we go. A nice simple scene here. I like it. I like it a lot. A little bit of paint thinner and a light color. I've got some of this titanium white, bluish kind of mixture here. A little bit of a signature there. A couple of different Eclipse paintings to commemorate the crazy cosmic dance, to quote Leonard Nimoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was a super simple one, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.